Welcome to the Star Monroe Show with myself, Star Monroe. Let me just paint a picture for you. I am in Mexico right now and I am sitting outside my room. It's got to be the best location for me possible because I am on the beach, but also in the midst of a jungle as well. And I'm in the shade underneath lots of trees and lots of greenery, and there are dream catchers wafting in the breeze. It is extremely hot. It's probably the same temperature as Florida. And yet there is a beautiful breeze coming off the sea. So I'm on vacation right now. I'm here because I chose. Oh, this is a good way to segue into this topic today. I chose to celebrate being 18 years clean. That was on the 1st of July. And so this desire fluttered up inside me. It's probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was sitting on my balcony at home. And it's like, well, I could ignore the fact that I'm 18 years clean, or I could actually do something about it. So I sat with my desires because that's what I do. I sit with them. And this is, if you're here to be a desire led woman as well, this is what I encourage you to do as well. Sit with them, allow them to percolate around in your emotional ecosystem. And because some flutter away into the ethers, and some stay there asking, demanding for our attention. And desires, they don't make sense to our rational mind because our rational mind is linear, wants to know all the answers, wants structure. That's how it feels safe. And so there is a real skill of learning how to become the vessel, the sacred temple for your desires to come in and to hold them without dismissing them or also reacting and going off and making every single desire happen. Because we don't have to make every single desire happen, yet we do need to acknowledge each one. Acknowledge, but bow down in reverence to it. And this is the art of really listening to ourselves, of connecting deeper to ourselves. So from that, I would enjoy, really enjoy talking to you more about what it means to let your desires lead. I kind of feel like I did it, and that's a synopsis. So I've already done a synopsis, and talk to you from how my life has expanded and evolved from me letting my desires lead and allowing my rational mind. So my rational mind is our ego, and our ego is, it's not to be feared, it's not to be dismissed. It's made up of a plethora of all versions of us, of all past versions of us. And so unless we do the work, the due diligence to sift through that, other people's voices, opinions, distractions from the external world will lead our way and make decisions for us. So, this work about becoming a desire led woman is bringing a heightened awareness to what is going on in your head and to become really curious about where the voices originated from. Everybody, I don't know how long you've been listening to me, but I have a practice which is similar to IFS, internal family systems. I call it tea and cake, where all parts of me are allowed a seat around the table. The table is around my heart. There's a big chandelier above the table. There's lots of higgledy-piggledy chairs of all shapes and sizes. And there's tea and there's cake being served continuously. And I sit at the head of the table because I am their divine mother and the divine father. And so all these parts of me, when they pop up, they can come and sit at the table, and I welcome them in with love, always with love. And I hear what they have to say. I hear their fears, their angsts, their insecurities, and I embrace it all. And I remind them that we've got this. I will figure it out. It's not their job to lead, it's my job to lead, as the conscious human being of myself. I lead the way. And I don't know if you have a faith. I'm not religious, and yet I do believe that we are connected to some greater energetic field. And so I believe that I'm connected to that. And as I trust myself more, and this is definitely what has happened, it's a byproduct of letting my desires lead, I trust life. And so that really helps me to relinquish the control. And I used to be a massive, huge control freak, perfectionist, and these are parts of me. And they used to lead the way because I felt very unsafe. And so those parts can now sit down and rest and enjoy their tea and cake. And I it's a surrendering to life. I know that as I show up fully for myself and I keep the promises I make to myself, and I recognize myself as well. This is really, really important. All these are really important mantras, let's call them mantras, that are principles, the way I live my life, that I know life will take me where I'm meant to go. And also, I also know that I can handle whatever life throws my way, because life is unpredictable, uncertain, and wildly chaotic as well. And one of the things I've been doing whilst I've been in Mexico is writing and pulling together my body of work, without using AI. And it is absolutely glorious to allow myself. It's uncomfortable, it's challenging, and also, really taps into my creativity. The more I come off the screen, the more I come away from anything man-made and come into my world, the more I'm able to see how my body of work is forming for this, as I move forward with my life, my business, my relationships, how I lead myself, how I lead you, how I lead others, and my money and prosperity. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that, and I can start to see it all kind of pulling together. It felt like it was a big jigsaw piece, big jigsaw that's been thrown across the floor, and it all kind of coming in. And I can't remember why I was talking about that. I've got to train my brain to stay on track. So this is all about the desires. Yes. And also as well, like, I knew going to Mexico, I would have the space to spend time on my body of work, so I can bring it into a comprehensive, like that word, no, framework, don't like that don't like that. It is my body of work. It's a living, breathing body of work. And as soon as I start to apply those words, a framework, a method, it kind of feels like it's like, oh, well, you're constricting us. No, we're a living, breathing organism. And so I'm here to teach that on, in the only way that I know how, by being me. So desires, they will be coming up from within you. You will, I don't know whether you notice them. Um, but for me, desires have always been there. I've had to hone the skill to really listen in. And as I said, if we don't hone the skill, and what that requires is slowing down. That's why I like being in Mexico as well. The pace of life really suits me. It mirrors Turkey. Um, so it's slowing down, the art of savoring life, unhooking ourselves from this constant hustle and movement that is man-made. We don't have to indulge in it if we don't want to. We don't have to drop into it if we don't want to. So it's this this gift of giving ourselves spaciousness and slowing down so that we can start to untangle. And I've said this before. The head is like a big ball of red wool that's been thrown out on the floor, and then someone's just collected it up really quickly and bundled it up, and it's got all knots and it's tied together and it's tiggledy piggledy and upside down. And that's what your conscious mind is like. And doing this work means that you start to unwind that red ball of wool and find out what is yours, what's not yours. And in there, you're going to create more space. And this is what I truly believe. This body that you live in, it's a sacred temple. It holds everything you need. It holds your inner knowing, your wisdom, and your desires. And your job, my job, is to clear out our body. Um, and that means mind, body, and soul, and have practices that support that so we can really be tuned in, connected, deeply connected to ourselves. And when we are deeply connected to ourselves, it changes how we move through life. And this is what I love about this body of work that I'm here to share with the world. It really does dramatically shift how we show up for ourselves. And especially as we are getting older and wiser, we can change the narrative again that we've been peddled around aging and being a woman and aging. And then it changes how we take care of ourselves because our body leads and we are listening. So your body will always be telling you what it wants, what it doesn't want. We need to listen and act. And then, if you're around the same age as me, like, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been knocking around for a while, and we have a bunch of wisdom inside us, and we need to access that and act upon it. And so all of these, it's kind of like a domino effect, and then our desires live within all of that. And our desires are coming, I don't know where our desires come from. I haven't got the answer for that. Maybe they come from our soul. Maybe it's the blueprint that we've been gifted in this life, as we get to live this life. We're gifted a certain blueprint, and our job is to follow those desires because that is our growth and evolution. And so I was sharing like how it changes everything. So it changes our relationship with ourselves. And I always say a woman who deeply trusts herself, who deeply respects herself, vibrates at a different energetic frequency than a woman that doesn't. And everything is energy. And so if you think about this, if you're vibrating at a higher frequency, if you're moving to live towards your highest timeline, which really resonates with me, you're here to live in your highest timeline. You are going to transcend a lot of your shadows. You're going to transcend, and people live in the shadows. And you only have to look. Like, people who love to moan and groan, they flock together. People who like drinking, they flock together. People who like doing drugs, they flock together. I mean, no shade, I've been here in all of these. People who attract relationships that are emotionally unavailable, tend to flock together. People who have wounds that they have not yet turned into wisdom attract people that are mirrors to that wounding, because some part of our subconscious sees that as safety. And this is why our healing journey is so important, and it never stops. It will always evolve and keep unfolding and unraveling and giving us more gifts about ourselves, more treasures about ourselves. So as we change our energetic frequency, our relationships change. We start to repel what we used to find very attractive. So I'll give you an example. Like, there's a certain type of guy that I've always found attractive. And I was heavy, like there was this bodily response. My body was like magnetically drawn to him. And if I see kind of men like that now, I can admire their handsomeness, their attractiveness, but nothing in me is compelled to move forward towards that man. And in fact, what I've seen myself, because I'm definitely interacting with more males as I've been in Florida, is I'm definitely attracted to a different male counterpart. And they feel to me kind of safer, more solid, more rooted, which of course makes sense because I'm safe in myself. I'm rooted in who I am. The other thing as well, by doing this work, letting your desires lead, I think believe it's all part of the healing journey, is that because you pour into yourself, because you're following what lights you up, this is from Rumi, it will not lead you astray. You're continuously pouring into yourself. You've transcended duality in life. It's like, this is good, this is bad, this is a success, this is a failure. Life becomes one big adventure and a big experiment. You no longer seek anything outside you because you can give it to yourself. So you serve your own needs. I truly believe this is really important, highly important, non-negotiable for all women. You need to be able to give yourself what you need and stop seeking it in others. It is not anyone else's job to give us what we need. That is our job. Very, very kind of firm on that. And that's, again, I've been there. I've been in lots of toxic, I've been in lots of abusive relationships. And it's like when there's a need in us and we haven't learned to fill that, so there's some motherfucker out there that can sniff that a mile off. They can sniff our weakness, and I'm not saying weakness as in a bad, but they can sniff our vulnerability out, and they will prey on that. And this is really, really important for women, because women, we've been taught that we have to be nice, we have to be good girls, we have to be, people pleasers to get along, to get our sense of love and safety and belonging. And it's bullshit. Your job is to shatter all these societal labels and narratives and reclaim, redefine what it means for you to be a woman at whatever age you are, and then go forth and fully live it. So yeah, a byproduct of becoming a desire-led woman, a woman who's so deeply connected to herself, your relationships change. You change how you lead. I was having a conversation with a woman this morning. It's randomly met her. She's in Tulum on her own, sharing our stories, and we were talking about, well, she was asking me questions about my business, and she said, do you want to go back in and do this? And I had to really sit with that. And, it took me a while. I said, I can't answer that question right now. I said, because I feel that there is like a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, no, I don't want to go back online and do this all over again. And I sat with it, and we continued talking, and we talked about leadership, and she's 67 today. And we were talking about being wiser women. And, it took, and this is why wisdom, we need to give it space for it to rise up within us. And so, it's further along in the conversation, probably another 20, 30 minutes on, I was like, I get it now. I said, when you asked me about wanting to go back in and doing this business, and I was like, my knee jerk reaction was, no, I don't want to. I was like, no, what it is I don't want to do it how I did it before. And we were talking about, both of us are accomplished women, driven, done a lot. I said, I don't have the drive. And I said, I don't have the fight in me. And I said, whenever I showed up for a business, it was always coming from a sense of fight or sort of injustice and kind of this. And I think I've talked about it on this podcast. If not, it was on After Hours, my private podcast. And I was like, I don't have that fight in me anymore. I don't want to fight. I want to come, and it took me a while. And I said that fight actually was coming from a place of fear. And I have a broader perspective on life now, and I can see things in a different light. And I'm sure in another 10 years, I'm going to see them in a different perspective as well. And I said, what I do want to do as I come back into this business and I guide women, because I'm not here to help you, I'm here to guide you. I'm really kind of owning that I'm here to guide you into what's possible for you, and there is so much possibility for you. And helping is kind of like that. It's a fixer mentality, help, fixing. It's really easy for one to get enmeshed in another. And I know from working with thousands upon thousands of women that I cannot guarantee anyone's outcome, but I am highly invested in your process. I'm highly invested in your process. Anyway, I digressed. So I was coming back to what I do want as I navigate and move forward with what I'm here to do. I said, I'm coming from a place of love. I'm coming from a place of love. That's what I want to do. And I said, this is a whole new world for me. And this is a whole new, and when I was doing my body of work, I was been writing it out over and over again, keep looking at it. And I truly believe that I've had to do this because as I'm doing it, I'm not coming from the place that there's anything wrong with you or me. I'm coming from the place that there's everything right with you, and I'm opening up doors to more possibilities. I don't feel like I've got quite the words for that. And I know last week I was talking about this as well, like this tweaking of the business. And all of this as well is me showing up differently, and we only rewire ourselves by doing things differently in the very present moment that we have. So there is a tendency of me to rush forward and go, yes, like I've just figured it out, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm like, no, I need to keep leaning back from this body of work. I need to keep leaning back because this is a desire in me. It's a desire to share my body of work. And my brain wants to know exactly how I'm going to do this. And, it wants all the fucking steps laid out. And yet I know it doesn't work like that. But I know also that I have to lean back and give it more space. And then more ideas come up from inside me. And I can piece the jigsaw pieces together a little bit more. And then I wander away and give it more space and so on and so forth. That's what I've been doing for the last kind of 5-6 days. So yeah, coming from a place of love. So I'm going to contemplate that some more. And that feels like a desire. That feels like, of course, you're here to spill love into the world, to love on the world. And I can't do that if I'm stressed out, if I've got the wrong client base, if I'm attracting the wrong client base, which at points in my business I was, that makes me resentful and bitter. That's not a good look on me. And so I have to pour into myself over and over again and give myself this spaciousness, which is a complete medicine for me. So yes, it changes how you lead both yourself and everyone around you. And I'm sure you are a woman who wants change in the world, and change starts with us, because when we change, it affects everyone around us. And then it changes how we show up for business, for money, for our career. And I was musing over that as well today. When you're desire led, and when you really truly let your desires lead and you act upon them, you build this tremendous trust bond with yourself. You, you, and I know I've said it already, but this trust bond, it changes everything. The more you trust yourself, the more you trust life. And life changes in how it approaches you, in how it weaves its way through you. So you can take bolder risks. You can move countries. You can leave the partner. You can go and find another partner or partners. You can shut the business down. You can go do all the things that you say that you want to do. And so being desire led for me means that you're deeply connected to yourself. You're deeply connected to yourself. And I believe at the beginning, I was like, how do you know that your desires are there? And so let me give you some examples. And then maybe you could take this off as a play assignment. And for the next, what are we in, July? Let's go, because I've got my new program's coming up in September. So let's get you to do some pre-work, that you start to become really curious about your desires. And maybe what you could do is buy, I'm sure you don't need to buy one, less consumerism. Find a journal in your house or a small notebook. It only needs to be small, and carry it around everywhere with you, because what you're going to start to do is practice the discernment between a need, a want, and a desire. A need, a want, and a desire. And a, a need is something that you need pretty instantaneously, and it's normally a bodily need. I need, like yesterday, I love the sun, so I was sunbathing yesterday. And because I'm by the sea, I don't realize how hot it is and how long ago I put suntan lotion on. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I feel woozy. And I'm like, you need to get out the sun now. So I just collected all my things and came back and sat outside my apartment, my room, and got bitten by mosquitoes, which is happening right now as well. And so a need is something that comes from your body. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I need a pee. I need to go to the toilet. I need to stop this conversation. I need to. Okay, so this is good because I can give you loads of examples. So yeah, I'm hungry, so I need to feed. So it's actually, you can then go through the nuances. Well, what do you fancy? And how do you know you're hungry? And so again, it's like getting to know your body. And so there's like this little gnawing pain in my tummy. It's like, well, what do you fancy? So then I kind of like ruminate over that. And at home, it's easy because I just prep all my food and eat pretty much the same thing every single day, because it's easy for me to do that, and I like that kind of routine. Here's another example. I went off for a treatment in the jungle, and I'm going to be talking more about exactly what I've been doing and where I am on my private podcast, After Hours, and all the links are going to be in the show notes. So if you want to dive in a little bit more, that's going to be in After Hours. So I was having this treatment, and halfway through the treatment, I'm like, nope, this doesn't work for me. I do not like this. And normally, when I've had this treatment, I just keep my mouth shut. And I then rattled through my mind. I was like, well, how am I going to get out of this? Because I don't want to upset the woman. And I'm in the middle of a fucking jungle. And I need to be able to get a taxi back to the hotel. So anyway, I conjured up this response. I said what I needed to say, and I got myself out of there pretty quick. I was really proud of myself because normally I would have just carried on and not enjoyed the experience. So that was a need. It was a real need. Like, this is not working for me. I feel uncomfortable. I need to exit out. And then I kind of rattled through my mind. I was like, thinking about the circumstances. I'm in a jungle. I need to get a taxi, right? Okay, this is what we're going to do. A need. That's a need. A want. A want. My wants are definitely ignited and amplified being in America. I'm getting used to it because it's a consumeristic society. I don't feel that in Mexico. I don't feel the want for anything. I'm really happy in nature. I'm really happy by the beach. I mean, I wouldn't want to live like this all the fucking time. I think I'd get really bored. And also, I'm navigating this life with America. So wants, they come up all the time. Like, I'm scrolling on Reels or I'm scrolling on TikTok. Someone's got a nice dress. Someone's got something for their house. Someone's got this. Someone's got that. So wanting is really easy. It's like, I want that. And because it's so instantaneous, you can just go to Amazon. You can order it online. You can get anything really quick. It becomes this habit, and you just get consumed by wants. Now, the thing with wants, our wants will give you that dopamine hit. They will give you an instant feeling of gratification, but you will want more. You will want more. Nothing feeds that hunger. Nothing feeds that hunger. So, and I'm not against people selling stuff and you buying stuff. Like, do what you want? It's your life. And be a conscious consumer. So for me, I definitely found that when I was kitting out the apartment, I was like, oh my, I got really, really messed up with all my wants, and my nervous system got all jacked up, and I wasn't thinking straight. My apartment turned out very well, though. I will give myself that. So wants are highly influenced from the external noise. I think being in a country where I don't speak the language really helps me extract myself from that energetic frequency of wants. I'm going to play around with that when I'm back home in Florida, and just monitor it, keep an eye on it, observe it with curiosity. Now, a desire is deeper. A desire comes from within. It's yours. It's nobody else's. It's yours. But the thing is, if you're not serving your needs, if you are not giving yourself what you need, and if you are wrapped up in your wants, you've got no fucking way that you're going to be able to connect to your desires. Also, if you hear any noise in the background, I'm on the main road of the to where am I? Tulum, and someone's revving his motorbike. Oh my god, the mosquitoes are literally feasting on my body. I'm going to have to go back inside in a minute. So a desire comes from within. It's quieter, and it could come through a feeling. It could come through, and that could be a feeling that feels uncomfortable. It could come through a feeling that feels uncomfortable. It could come through a voice inside you. It could come through tingles on your skin, goosebumps. I've just come inside. So it's going to come in lots of different ways. For me, over the years, it's come through as ideas, definitely ideas, and desires. For me, they don't go away. A want, if I can wait out the want, it tends to go away. But a desire stays and taps at my internal ecosystem until I acknowledge it. And as I said, we don't have to make every single desire come true, but we do need to acknowledge them. And that's how you strengthen the connection. All these three things, the need, the want, the desire, as you're serving your needs, as you're becoming more aware of your wants and extracting yourself from that, perpetual revolver merry-go-round of wanting this, wanting that, then wanting this and wanting that, you can become more deeply aligned with your desires. And your desires, as I said, I don't know where they come from, but let's say they come from the blueprint of your soul. They're you, they're your makeup. That's it. And they're here to expand and evolve you. They're here, and sometimes they're going to challenge the fuck out of you. Sometimes they're going to bring you great joy. So years ago, I've been teaching this stuff for years, and I'm so grateful that I stayed on course. It's a desire, right? It won't go away. I'm here to teach this. Years ago, I aligned desires with always pleasure. But but you don't get pleasure without pain. You can't have one without the other. You've got to be able to handle whatever comes your way. You've got to be able to handle it all in life, especially if you are going to be leading from your desires. And then if I circle this all the way back into, this is what it means for me to live alive, to be fully alive. And for me, I can spot the women that are fully alive a mile off, and I want to be around them. And I was writing earlier and I was like, I want to be around people that enjoy themselves, not enjoy themselves, but enjoy being themselves. And that is a desire-led woman. That's going to be a desire-led man. We're a rare breed. And yet there's so much like juice and oomph and depth and vibrancy and radiance to it when you live with your desires, when you allow them to lead the way. So on that note, my body needs a pee. So that's what I'm going to go off and do. I appreciate your time and attention. I really do. And if you, what do I want to add in here before I hang up? My bladder's going to go, really? Are you going to carry on talking? Yes, I am. Let's put, everything's in the show notes. Flaunt, my new program, starts in September, a 30-day experiment to get you out of your comfort zone and start to let your desires lead. We're going to have lots of fun with this program. And this is all about being bolder, showing up for yourself, demanding more. Let's shift that energetic frequency from within, and let's have a good time doing it too. So Flaunt is coming in September. Join the wait list, because everyone on the wait list gets access to VIP pricing. Flaunt then leads into my deeper group program, which is called Hunger. I haven't opened up any wait lists for that. So Hunger is the deeper journey of becoming a desire-led woman. And where are we? July. Yeah, now is the time. I will be opening my doors to work with me privately. I only work with 2 clients at any one time. I'll tell you why. Because I am highly invested in your process, and you have access to me nearly 24/7 throughout the period of time we work together. So that's called Liberate, and you can apply. I'm going to put that in the show notes too. So you can apply to work with me. You align with what I'm saying, smart, successful, 50 plus. You've got everything going on for you, but something is missing. Okay, that something missing is your deeper connection with yourself. And this is what I'm excellent at guiding you back to. So as I've said in this episode, everything changes: your relationships, how you lead, and how you live. Yes. How it works, we do a weekly call either on FaceTime or Zoom, and then you have access to me via an app called Voxer, where we send voice notes to each other Monday through to Friday. And it is a brilliant way to work with me, because we get to know each other very intimately. We build up a relationship. I'm always there. Apart from the weekends, I'm always there. And this, over the years, I've tried lots of different ways to work with my private clients. This for me has been the most transformative way to work with my private clientele, because you get all of me and I can hear you. And what my job is, I can hear what's going on underneath what you're saying, and the voice notes are a way for us to keep digging in and redirecting you in the very present moment. I never really understood kind of, and although I did do this model, seeing somebody once a week, I'm like, what the fuck are you going to be doing for the rest of the week? Like, I get to see you once a week. How can that transform anything? And I'm in the business of deep transformation. So now I can go for a pee. If you dare to let your desires lead, I will meet you there, rejoicing and celebrating the fuck out of you. Everything you need is going to be in the show notes. Until next time.